guys, Scott here from Outlaw Garage. We have got a car on the channel that we've been hunting for a little while. It started its life off as a Sportomatic and now is a Gulf Blue IROC.
I'm Andrew and this is my Gulf Blue 911 IROC replica or tribute. It started its life 2016 as a car for the IROC Challenge Series. So back to bare metal. Respray, ground build up. It was raced a couple of times in the IROC Challenge Series, and then COVID hit and the series stopped. So yeah, I took the opportunity to have a look at the car. Always wanted a car I could drive to the track, have a bit of fun, drive home. So a lot of inspiration from Jack Olsen and Frank Cassidy. So yeah, if you know those guys, you know kind of what I'm looking at. So had it for nearly 2.5, 3 years. Probably had 2 years of that actually getting it ready. So when I first got it, it had all plexi windows, obviously race tyres, race wheels, one washer, race tank, no headlights, no indicators, no electrical. It was just bare metal.
Yeah, okay.
It's definitely one of the colours out of the original IROC series back in 73, 74, where they had 25 cars. So yeah, same colour as one of them. Bodywork was done. I've had to do a couple of little things just to fix it up. There was a few cracks in some of the fiberglass panels. So yeah, all the panels are lightweight fiberglass.
Yep.
We had a tow hook coming out front, or tow strap coming out front, which had damaged the fiberglass.
Okay.
So I fixed a few things like that. But
yep.
The car was built by Skunk Works, so they did all the body and the paint.
And I've not visited those because they're a little bit.
Yeah, they're at Colac.
Yeah, they're a little bit further out, but they're on my list of hey guys, I need to come out at some point.
Great place to visit.
Yeah.
There's a ton of stuff out there. I mean, one of the things I really was looking for was, what it's like with the old Porsches. There's rust in potentially a lot of different areas. So because this had back to bare metal respray, there was no hidden rust, nothing in it, right? So yeah, that was an investment in itself to a certain point. So
what I did want to talk about, because this is a little bit probably different to some of the cars that we've done, this has had to go through a degree of engineering and a VAS, and there's a few little things on here which are I didn't think you would actually have to do for the VAS and the engineering. You were talking about the front fuel. Yeah,
it's probably easy to show you while I'm talking about it.
Yeah, because this was totally alien to me. I didn't even think about that at all.
Yeah, we originally had there was a race tank in there. High pressure fuel. There was a sump and all that kind of stuff. But obviously it was quite small, so it didn't have much capacity. So and it wouldn't have got roadworthy anyway. I think it's an 80 or a 70 litre tank. We originally just put it in, and the fuel filler cap kind of just comes up here and comes out here. Because we don't have the flap here, we were having to fill the car here. So when the engineers saw that was one of these big flags, because if we were spilling any fuel, it's going to go down towards the battery. Or it's going to go into the cabin through the passenger footwell. We looked at putting a hole in here, but we couldn't fit a dog bowl in this area just because you need to support the bonnet. Yeah. So yeah, we cut a hole in the bonnet, and we got the tank fixed up. So we got re-welded with a centre fuel cap. In the engine, we had to breathe out the crank case. So what you're looking at when you're doing a VAS certificate, you're looking at these numbers here that come on your compliance plate. Yep. And each one of those numbers defines what the requirement was at the year that the car was manufactured or complied in the country. And so the engineer goes through that and says, well, you've got to comply to all these different rules. So he was looking at that at the end of the day to make sure the minimum was met.
And what did they do with the breather? Just have it? Go take a look. Yeah, I might be able to see this.
So you got to breathe the emissions out of the. You got to breathe the emissions out.
It's a cracking engine.
So yeah, initially this pipe here, which was coming out of the crank, was just one pipe. So we've had to split it and
okay.
pipe into the ears, but this is actually not going anywhere. I mean, they should go back into the filter.
Yeah.
So you're kind of recycling the emissions. It's a 964.
I was going to say, I thought it was a 964.
Yeah, it's a 3.6 twin plug. It's got 964 cup cams. Yeah, when we first tried to get the road, or get it up and running on the road, the last thing we looked at was getting it tuned properly.
Yep.
So we had some issues with the PMOs. We couldn't get it tuned really well, but we were lucky enough we were able to get another set of PMOs exactly the same, put them on the car, because we were worried that the cam might have been like a really, really strong cam and it'd be really hard to tune for road.
Yeah, loves running at 5,000-6,000 revs. But absolutely useless at 2-3.
Yeah, you couldn't drive it around the road. No. Yeah, so that was interesting. So we put some of the PMOs on it, and I took it down to Sandown and had to go on that, and it ran really well. So we knew that the cam was good, because it's actually hard to find out what things are in these cars. You're back in the day when they made these engines for the racing. It's all a little bit secret sometimes. They don't necessarily let you know. It
still is secret. If you go to the track now and ask anybody, it's a standard SC engine, or it's a standard, and it's clearly not.
No. There's a big difference between reality and truth sometimes.
Yeah, so, unless you're pulling it apart, you never really know, do you?
And that's the thing. We didn't want to have to pull it apart, pull the cam out to actually work out what it was. But we could measure. You can measure the cams by opening up the engine slightly, and you can actually measure the cams. So the tuner was saying, it's the cams, I can't tune it, but we put some other PMOs on it, and the car ran really well. PMOs were exactly the same. So yes, we took it back to the tuner, and he basically had to rebuild the PMOs. They just weren't built properly.
Yeah, okay. And there were new ones?
No, they were new on the car. So everything. Yeah. When the car was built, so the engine was rebuilt for race. Spec and race engine, but everything on the car was pretty much brand new when it was built.
Because I have considered doing this myself on our SC, but you do hear those stories of it's a tuning and setup, and you get a bag set, and there's a bit more work to it. So it can be it can be a bit of an interesting journey, and it's a lovely whale tail as well. We've taken some shots of that before, like there's a lovely shape to that.
Yeah, we were worried we might get a bit of attention on the road by the police, by having something so big, but
it's not RWB big. You're you're okay there, I think.
Yeah, we're lucky that it's got actually quite rounded edges. If they were a bit sharper, they'd probably get a bit more attention.
Yeah, because the design of it is very much it's a tail. I really do like that. Yeah, that's epic. That is there.
It actually does. I think it does actually work.
I think it works really well with the colour as well.
Yeah.
Like the shape of it is brilliant.
Yeah. Yeah. The car left the factory in '75 as a copper brown Sporto.
Oh.
Yeah. So I dug up the numbers and had a look, and
Well, that's a remarkable change.
Yeah. So it Australian delivered. It's not a conversion at all. So that was another bonus. But copper brown 75 Sporto.
Copper brown Sporto. That is, I'd have never guessed. Wow.
It's definitely not one for the purists, but it's a good tribute.
Yeah, but wow, that is so cool.
The other thing we have to do for roadworthy as well is we also need to have a bit of air coming into the car for
ventilation.
And demisting the windscreen if we need to.
Demister. That's the other thing, isn't it? Yeah. Because people might not realise, like if you're watching this in the States and things, here in Australia we can be a little bit funny with VAS certificates and engineering and things, and demisters. Having had it on an old Volkswagen as well, is people will just wire up a dodgy old fan so that you know
what these are like. They don't blow really well anyway at the best of times. But
no, and I thought the demister was that you wound the window down a little bit.
And you got a microfiber. We have to modify the exhaust a little bit too, just to make it a little bit quieter.
I'd imagine the racing exhaust did not pass
Nah.
noise testing at all?
No. Had a couple of hot dogs on it.
Yeah.
That was about it. So it's basically got 4 hot dogs on it now. The problem with these, well, not the problem with these cars, when you measure the sound for your roadworthy and your bass, they measure it from the back.
Yeah. Okay.
And because the engine is at the back, you're going to get a lot of noise anyway.
Yeah, you get all the additional.
Yeah. So it passed, sound at around about 2,000, 3,000, but after that, no good.
I bet it was nowhere near it after that.
Nah. One of the big things internally with we have to cut out the internal cage.
Because it would have had a full cage, I guess.
Had a full cage internally, yeah. You can have side bars coming across here, but they have to be a certain height for a roadworthy. So you might see some of those cars having them as bolt-ins, but the cage in here was fully manufactured and welded for the car.
Okay.
So there were a few tears when it was being cut out, because it was such a piece of.
So were you
artwork.
able to cut it so that you kept most of the original cage? You didn't have to refabricate a new cage at all?
No. So I sourced this half cage. It's got a cams, like it's a proper one.
And that's why the tears then?
Yeah. So the whole
because I kind of thought that you might have been able to cut it so that you kept the original part of the cage, but then this part here. But clearly, that wasn't a thing.
Yeah, and there's obviously a lot of bars that go across internally for the race car and down the A pillars and B pillars. So as an example, the bar went too far forward of the B pillar that we couldn't attach seatbelts, so I wouldn't get a roadworthy. And the bar.
Oh, that's awkward then.
Yeah, and then bar. So we were looking at whether we try and rake it back or not. And then the bars going down the A pillars are a head injury issue.
Yeah, so you would just cut it out, start again.
And then we put the half cage in.
Yeah.
That was all done by the guys at Skunk Works.
Yeah, and I guess I'd not really thought about the whole, if that post is too far forwards, then you can't fit your seatbelts, where now you've got them. Yeah, you've still got the harnesses with the seats, but you wouldn't have been able to fit anything. And like you said, I guess it's the head injury component with having that pillar over that side. It kind of...
It's all these little things that come up after you've bought the car. It's like, oh, this will be easy. It won't take long. And then you're like, wow, we can't do that because of that. We can't do that. And you're like, well, we had some second-hand gauges, but the gauges are pretty dull anyway. So we refurbed the gauges at the same time. Because the glass ages. I don't know whether you can see.
Oh yeah, and they light up really nicely, don't they?
Yeah. So behind them, they're all painted white, and there's LEDs behind for the backlight. So
it gives it a bit more of a glow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice touch.
The engine and the gearbox were all rebuilt for race, so they're solid, like they're.
And the 915 gearbox, although it's a little bit clunky, needs a warm up, doesn't it?
Exactly.
But they tend to be bulletproof.
They're pretty good, and they're pretty lightweight compared to the other options. Like the other option is a G50.
Yeah.
They're pretty heavy gearboxes, so not a lot of these cars as a race car would have a G50. Other little things that we did while we had the chance is. You won't know it, but we refurbed the internals of the light, like that all got repainted white on the inside.
Now you say that, I can actually see that there.
Just little things.
I think the white on those things, because of the colour of the car, it really makes it pop a little bit more.
Yeah, and it just means there's a better backlight when the lights are actually on.
Yeah. And wheels?
Wheels, braid BZs. Come out of Spain.
Yeah, okay.
They're custom making for you, so...
Give them your offsets and all your details, and because that's a nice deep dish on that rear. I think we always have to do a bit of a hand test so people can see how deep it is, but that's a deep dish.
Yeah, so 8's on the back, and 8's on the front, and 10's on the back. 15s. So there's a guy that imports these wheels in Australia, Cam Smith from Classic Wheels. He's actually got an IROC race car that he uses at some of the heritage races. So I actually took my track wheels, which are over there, down to him and fitted them on his car, so we could actually measure the offset and
gotcha.
get the correct offset. And then they 4-6 weeks later they come back manufactured for you.
Now it is wet outside, so we won't
give it full bangs.
No, because I suspect your tyres are a little bit slippery.
They're actually not too bad.
No?
They're the historic Pirelli Centauros or whatever they are.
You can hear the camminess of the car.
Yeah. And the PMOs, you can hear them.
Yeah, breathing into it.
That's where you feel it.
Yeah. It's got a really nice whistle as well.
Yeah. My son keeps on thinking it's a turbo, and I'm like, nah, mate, it's just a gearbox.
Yeah.
You can imagine how fun this is.
Yeah.
I've got to be careful when, I've always been told just be careful when you're coming out of the corners because
it flips, does it?
Well, I spun it once when the tyres are cold.
Yeah. It just doesn't quite hold the same traction.
No, but it's just a solid car.
Yeah, because you can feel it. Suspension solid, car's solid with a cage in it. Car feels really tight.
It's stiff. Gearbox needs warming up.
But not uncomfortable.
Yeah, well, I haven't changed the suspension that was in it, so it's still the coilovers.
Yeah, okay.
But you'll feel it coming over these bumps here. That's when you feel it, those little things.
But the car's so rigid, it just holds together, doesn't it?
Yeah, because the support goes from the front all the way through into the back. I broke the clutch on the second track day we had it. Something broke inside it, and the pressure plate just destroyed itself.
Oh, just disintegrated.
Yeah, I thought I'd broken a clutch cable.
Yeah.
It was at the end of the session. I'm coming down the end of the straight, just doing a slowdown lap, and I went to change in a third, and the clutch went all the way to the floor. So I thought the cable had snapped. But then, got it back to the mechanics, and whole new clutch assembly later.
A great pickup. So were you just kind of looking for it, or?
I wasn't looking for a race like this, a race car. I was looking for something.
Just an air-cooled 911.
Air-cooled 911, but I was being relatively picky or smart, as you could say, around. I didn't want to grab one that come from the UK. I didn't want to deal with a lot of rust or any of that kind of stuff. Well, I think this has been for sale for a while, and I've been speaking to the guys at Nine Auto to say if anything comes up, let me know. Keen to have a look.
Yeah.
And Tim said, why don't you go and have a look at this one? So the initial attempt wasn't to be doing a big conversion.
Yeah.
I was hoping to get into the car a lot earlier.
Yeah.
But it made sense to do this the right way. Aussie delivered non-sunroof Sporto 1975.
I'm really pleased we're caught up to do this because we do a lot of videos, and mainly it's because I want to see the car.
Yeah, of course.
And I've been looking forward to this. I was like, yeah, that's got me written all over it.
Yeah, it's just a fun car.
Well, there we go. Hope you enjoyed the video and this beautiful Gulf Blue IROC behind us. We are going to have to catch up with it when we do a track day, because that is going to be a whale of a time, a great time in that car. Please give the video a big thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and we will see you later. See you later, guys. Bye.